Types of sampling broadly classified into probability and non-probability. Probability sampling, every population has an equal chance of being selected. Every population has an equal chance of being selected. Non-probability sampling, it is a discretion of the researcher. DISCRETION. It is a discretion of the researcher. But it is not recommended for research. It is convenient and low cost, but it is not recommended for research. Now let's see in the probability sampling different types. Restricted sampling, only one sampling comes under, that is simple random sampling. All elements in the population are considered and each element has an equal chance. It has two types, lottery method and use of table of random number. Lottery method, selecting chit out of chit. Selecting chit, CHIT, selecting chit out of chit. It is a type of probability sampling in which each element in the population has given equal chance. Use of table of random number, researcher wants to select a sample of 200. Researcher should simply start to read numbers from a table of random number at any relatively selected points, or he can use a book. Just turning the page numbers in a book, he can select that page number is considered as a sample number. So restricted sample, simple random, it has two types, lottery method, selecting chit out of chit, or use of table of random number. The next one is the unrestricted or complex sampling method. It is done on some restricted basis. It has many types. Number one is systematic sampling. In a single line, I will explain you. Systematic sampling, nth element of the population. Nth element of the population. Suppose a researcher wants to know the purchasing habit of customer in a market, he can select every fifth customer to obtain a sample, 5, 10, 15, 20 like that he can take a sample, or 10th element, 10, 20, 30 like that. So nth element of the population is considered systematic sampling. Stratified sample, let us see on the next slide. The third one is cluster sampling. Among the groups are homogeneous, within the groups are heterogeneous. Let me give an example. If you are studying about college goers, there are many educational institutions are there. Arts and science, engineering, polytechnic, medical college, law college. All are educational institutions. All are homogeneous. So within the group you can select only standalone B school, engineering, arts and science. So within the groups are heterogeneous. Among the groups are homogeneous, within the groups are heterogeneous. So instead of collecting detail from all colleges, you can select only 3 colleges. Engineering college, arts and science, and standalone B school. Then you select your sample size. This is called cluster sampling. And the next one is multi-stage or area sampling. Multi-stage. The first stage, states can be considered. The next stage, you can select a particular district. And next stage, you can take a particular geographical area. City, it is termed as multi-stage, country-wise, then state-wise, then district-wise, in a particular place. This is a multi-stage sampling, and it also be an area sampling. The government agency are using area sampling to collect information. A family planning program or AIDS awareness program, polio campaign. The government agency are using area sampling. Particular area is selected as sample. So multi-stage sample is taking a sample based on some areas. They are dividing, and among the country they select a particular state. From that particular state, a district and the particular geographical area is selected for study. And area sampling, it is particularly used by government agency. And subsample, suppose a researcher wants to study 40,000 houses, it penetrated 800 streets, the researcher can take only 10%. 400 houses and 80 streets as a subsample. So a researcher can select 10% or 5% or 20%. Better you can take more than 10 percentage. Here researcher wants to study 40,000 houses. It penetrated 800 streets. So 10 percentage of houses he can take 480 streets as a subsample. Multi-phase sampling. It has different phases of observation. The best example is polio drop given by the government below 5-year children, but it has given continuously every 6 months once. It has the different phases of study. Like that, for the researcher, you can select different phases of observation. Double sampling. It is used for industrial inspection purpose. Two samples are drawn, N1, N2, and the first sample is inspected. The batch can then be accepted or rejected upon the result of this inspection, or second sample be inspected and the decision made upon the combined result. It's a standard form. It is used for industrial inspection purpose, double sampling. The next one is replicated or interpenetrated, otherwise interpenetrating subsample. It was introduced by P.C. Matiala. It is easy to assess non-sampling error. It is used in experimental design. And also it is used in all social science, demographic, public health and many other fields. It is quick and simple method. It is helpful for measuring non-sampling error. It is widely used in experimental design. Now we'll move on to non-probability sampling. As I said earlier, it is a discretion of the researcher, but it is not recommended for research. The first one is convenient sampling. Convenient sampling means the easily accessible members are chosen as subject. A faculty calling student whom we happen to meet, or interviewing people whom we happen to meet in train travel. Suppose a researcher aims to study how many pan shops selling gold flag cigarette. He decide a sample of 200. In that case, the researcher would visit 200 shops which are very convenient to visit. So convenient, it is a convenient, according to the researcher, convenient selecting the sample size. It includes sampling bias. Next one is judgmental sampling. Judgmental sampling, researchers select the sample on the basis of sound judgment. Suppose an organization, there are 5 members in a board of director. If one of them quit, the chairperson may appoint another member based on his judgment regarding knowledge and expertise of a new member. Based on the sound judgment, they are selecting 5th board of director. This is called judgment sampling. So researcher, sound judgment, he can select the sample. Next one is purposive sample. There is a small difference between judgment and purposive sample. It is done to solve the purpose of research study. It is started with purpose in mind. I'll give an example. Suppose a researcher wants to gather the opinion of working mother about conditions of workplace. Therefore, the researcher would contact only those who are mothers and working. All other females would not be surveyed. Purposive sampling is similar to judgment, except the difference that more emphasis is given to fulfill the purpose. I have given example, studying work-life balance of working mothers. So you cannot select all women. You have to select working women and that who are mothers. Then only our purpose will be achieved. And next one is quota sampling. It is another method of stratified sampling. Stratified sampling, in which selection within strata. Strata means group. Suppose a population 1,000 people are in 3 groups. 600 male, 200 female, 200 children. According to some proportion, you can select 60 male, 20 female, 20 children. So there is a proportion I am selecting male, female and children. Subgroup. Again, this subgroup are identified with the 10% only. Exact proportion is taken. Quota sampling is a method of stratified. Strata means a group. I am dividing into different group, male, female and children. Then I am applying proportion. Next one is snowball or chain or referral sampling. It occurs as referral increase. Snowball effect refers to a process that starts from an initial state. I'll give an example. If we are studying about self-help group women in a particular area, I know only my area self-help group women. I'm collecting detail from them. And again I'm asking them their friends detail, other self-help group detail. Then I'm contacting second self-help group. Again I'm collecting detail from them, third self-help group. From one person to one sample to another sample to another sample. It is like throwing snowball. If you are throwing snowball, it touch one ball, it touches, it finally it become a big ball. No, the same way I'm touching only one sample. From that I am asking another sample contact number. From that I am collecting contact number. Self-help group I am taking nearby my place. Continuously I am collecting detail one by one. This is a snowball or chain or referral sampling. Wildlife photographer. If I am going to study about wildlife photographer, I know only one person. So I can collect only from one person. From that person I can collect their friends. Like that continuously I can go. It's a like chain. It occurs in a referral basis. It is called snowball sampling or chain sampling or referral sampling. Now we'll move on to stratified sample. As I said earlier, strata means group. Strata means group. So it is divided, the population is divided into different groups. For example, human resource manager wants to assess the need of training for employee working in an organization. So look at this: proportionate, stratified, clerical worker, system admin, supervisor, low level manager, middle level. Totally 1300 employees are there. So I have to give some proportionate, no? So I am selecting 20% of employees for different training methods. I am selecting 20% of employees. Human resource manager wants to assess need of training. So he has selected 1300 employees. Out of that, 20% is proportionately he has selected his employees. However, the researcher might feel that only 2 members from top level management cannot reflect the view of all 10 top level managers, and only 8 members from middle level can't truly reflect the view of all 40 members. Therefore, he might decide to use disproportionate. Therefore, he might use disproportionate method. Disproportionate, there is no proportionate allocation of element. It is done in case of difference in size of stratum and its variability. This method is used when the researcher feels that proportion method may not drive true conclusion. It may not drive true conclusion. So I am moving to disproportionate. It is widely used in market research. And studying about customer preference, you can use disproportionate stratified sampling. Discussion questions. Find out the type of sampling. Researchers select sample on the basis of sound judgment. Whenever referral increase, this sample also increase. AIDS awareness program, polio drops. Among the groups are homogeneous, within the groups are heterogeneous. Find out type of sampling. Any doubts or any clarification? Command me. Before I end my session, now we'll move on. Small recap. Probability sampling broadly classified into restricted and unrestricted. Restricted, only one sampling, that is called simple random. Simple random again 2. Lottery method, use of table of random number. Lottery method, selecting chit out of chit. Use of table of random number, researcher can start read numbers from the list or just turn the page number in a book. You can select your sample. Stratified, strata means group. Stratified sampling, It has two types, proportionate, disproportionate. It is widely used in market research. There are 5 types of non-probability sampling: convenient, judgment, purposive, quota, snowball. Purposive sample, there is a small difference. I'll give an example. I have given an example that studying work-life balance of working mothers, so that if you are taking all female would not be giving a purpose. You can select working women, and that too who are mothers, then only our purpose will be achieved. Quota sampling and snowball sampling. Snowball sampling you can use, it is otherwise called chain or referral. Whenever referral increase, this sort of sampling also increase, but non-probability sampling not recommended for the research. Better we can go with probability sampling. We can use any one of the restricted or unrestricted sampling method. On this note, I end my session. Thank you for watching.